Welcome, everyone. Please join us now near the podium to hear the testimonies of the people from Silent No More Awareness Campaign. My name is Angelina, and I'm the National Coordinator for the campaign in Canada. I am joined today by courageous mothers and fathers who will speak of their pain, regret, and healing after abortion. We bring a message of hope and healing, of sorrow turned to joy. Because in the words of Pope John Paul II, nothing is definitively lost. Our children are with God. We can ask forgiveness from God and from our children who are now living in the Lord. And I'd like to begin by sharing my testimony. At the age of 15, after a date rape, I discovered that I was pregnant. Calling a number from a newspaper, I reached an abortion referral agency. Engaging with a so-called counselor, I was advised that my problem of being unmarried and a pregnant teenager would be solved by an abortion. Deeply conflicted, I gave myself over to self-protection, to the lie that I could erase both the date rape and the pregnancy. In fear, I entered the abortion mill in upstate New York. I moved very slowly. I questioned myself. Could I turn back? Could I stop this from happening? Was it right? Was it wrong? Then time ran out. The physical pain was excruciating. Coupled with the high-pitched sound was the sight of a large jar filling up with blood. My blood and that of the life that had been within me for about 8 to 10 weeks. Gone was the problem. Then came a soul-crushing pain. I left the United States changed, numbing the pain through the use of alcohol, drugs, and sexual encounters. Life became very dark. Cut off from God, family, and friends, I spiraled in despair toward death. 7 years later, in answer one night to my heartfelt cry to God to get me out of this death spiral, I was lifted up, turned around, and brought into His protection through another phone call for help. He set me on a path of healing and restoration, a process which culminated in facing the truth of what abortion did to my first child. 7 years after marrying Walter, I was rushed to the hospital and diagnosed with a ruptured ectopic pregnancy. All were powerless to save and protect the baby growing inside the fallopian tube. Joseph Michael, short life and death, gave me a gift of clarity. I was given to see the difference between a life protected and a life disposed of. Faced with the death of 2 children, one conceived in marriage and the other conceived in rape, I realized that both children were real and worthy of protection at conception by myself and by others. The conception of the child conceived in rape and aborted was no longer just a positive pregnancy test, a blob of tissue. Her name is Sarah. Elizabeth. A human being, a child of God, my daughter, created with a complete and determined genetic blueprint at the moment of her conception. Sarah's conception in the context of a sexual assault was not erased by abortion. Rather, her life was ended. Nor was my experience undone. Sarah needed to be protected by me and by others. But that option was not offered to me. Instead, the violent act of abortion was to follow the violent act of rape. After the abortion, my life and that of others was filled with sorrow, with loss and regret, until I found hope and healing through a number of healing ministries over the years. Sarah's life was worthy of protection at conception, and I regret not doing so. Protection at conception is vital to the restoration of total reverence of life, and that is why I am silent no more.